Welcome to the Space News. NASA to allow reuse of Crew Dragon spacecraft and boosters. The Falcon 9 first stage that launched the Demo 2 mission returned to Port Canaveral, Florida after a drone ship landing. While the booster for the Demo 2 mission was new, NASA will allow SpaceX to use previously flown boosters and Crew Dragon spacecraft on ISS missions starting next year. NASA will allow SpaceX to reuse the Crew Dragon spacecraft and the Falcon 9 first stages for launching them as soon as next year. A modification to the Commercial Crew Transportation Capability (CCT) CAP contract that NASA has with SpaceX, published last month, will allow SpaceX to reuse both the Falcon 9 first stage and the Crew Dragon spacecraft, starting with the second operational mission of the spacecraft, known as Post-Certification Mission or PCM-2 or Crew 2. That change was described as part of a bilateral modification that also formally extended to the length of the Demo 2 mission from 2 weeks to as long as 119 days. The move is a change for SpaceX, as the company originally planned to use a new Crew Dragon spacecraft on each of its commercial crew missions for NASA. That stood in contrast to Boeing, which will refurbish its CST-100 Starliner crew modules between flights. It has been stated that the Crew Dragon vehicles were intended to be fully reusable. Earlier this year, it was also mentioned that company officials were considering reusing the Crew Dragon vehicles on NASA flights. It was also stated that the Crew Dragon would be reused, but at the time, it was not mentioned if the spacecraft would be reused on a NASA or a non-NASA mission. When asked about contract modification, it was mentioned that SpaceX approached NASA about allowing the reuse of the spacecraft and boosters on later missions. SpaceX has proposed to reuse the future Falcon 9 and/or Crew Dragon systems or components for NASA missions to the International Space Station because they believe it will be beneficial from a safety and/or a cost standpoint. NASA has performed an in-depth review and has determined that the terms of the overall contract modification were in the best interests of the government. The Demo 2 mission used both a new Crew Dragon spacecraft and a new Falcon 9 rocket. The same will be true for the first operational mission, Crew 1 or PCM-1, which is scheduled for no earlier than August 30th. PCM-2 would launch sometime in 2021. The reuse of a Falcon 9 booster or a Crew Dragon spacecraft on any NASA mission will require a Delta certification review by NASA, and NASA will not allow any vehicles that are flight leaders in terms of service life to be used for those missions. SpaceX has tended to test the limits of Falcon 9 boosters reuse on its own Starlink launches, including a June 3rd launch that marked the 5th launch and landing of the same booster. SpaceX and NASA took a gradual approach to the reuse of the original cargo version of the Dragon spacecraft for missions under the company's Commercial Resupply Services or CRS contracts with NASA. SpaceX won approval to start reusing Dragon spacecraft with the CRS-11 mission in 2017. 8 of the subsequent 9 flights used previously flown capsules, with 3 capsules ultimately making 3 flights each. SpaceX started reusing Falcon 9 boosters on CRS missions with CRS-13 in December 2017, which was the fourth Falcon 9 launch overall to use a reflown booster. 4 of the 7 CRS missions that followed also used boosters, making their second flight. SpaceX previously stated it planned to reuse the version of Crew Dragon that it will use for missions under its new CRS contract, starting later this year. That vehicle is similar to Crew Dragon but lacks some internal systems needed for crewed flights, as well as the Super Draco thrusters for Crew Dragon's launch abort system. The company estimates each cargo spacecraft should be able to make 5 flights. Number of flights right now is a design number. A lot of that depends on what you see when you come back. Also, it has been stated that the build and the flight reliability at SpaceX at a NASA briefing before the launch of the final original cargo Dragon in March. In reality, we might be able to run the capsule 6 times or 4 times, depending on what we find during our tests. This has been a review of SpaceX's reusable spacecrafts and boosters. The Falcon 9 is an incredible rocket, and the Crew Dragon are incredible spacecrafts. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments down below. We crave your comments. Also, please subscribe if you have not already done so. Thanks for watching the Learning Academy.